Today our topic of discussion will be renal cell carcinoma. So again, we'll be going question by question. Few questions from the MBBS final year students, which has come in the third professional part 2 MBBS exam. So question may come like that: classify kidney tumors. Mention modes of present of renal adenocarcinoma. Outline the management of such a patient. So classification of renal tumors according to Bailey and Lab's short practice of surgery. Adenoma, angiomyolipoma. Malignant neoplasms like Wilms tumor, Broyd's tumor, or adenocarcinoma, or hypernephroma, which is currently known as suprarenal tumor, or there may be transitional cell carcinoma of the renal pelvis and collecting system, squamous cell carcinoma of the renal pelvis. Now, the more detailed one is WHO classification of kidney tumors. There may be familial renal cancers, renal tumors which are malignant clear cell carcinoma, multilocular clear cell renal carcinoma, papillary renal cell carcinoma, chromophobe renal cell carcinoma, carcinoma of the collecting ducts of Bellini, renal medullary carcinoma, and XP11 translocation carcinomas. Carcinoma associated with neuroblastoma, mucinous tubular and spindle cell carcinoma. Benign is papillary adenoma, oncocytoma, and renal cell carcinoma unclassified. Clinical features, signs and symptoms. The classical presentation is described as triad of gross hematuria, flank pain, and a palpable mass that occurs in only 7 to 10% of patients. Frequently manifests as advanced disease. Patients may also present with hematuria, dyspnea, cough, and bone pain, which are typically symptoms of secondary to metastasis. With the routine use of a CT scanning for evaluation of non-specific findings, asymptomatic renal tumors are increasingly detected incidentally, that is more than 50%. Paraneoplastic syndromes, RCC is associated with a wide spectrum of paraneoplastic syndromes. Overall, these manifestations can occur in 10 to 40% of patients with RCC. Now, there are paraneoplastic syndromes with causes. Anemia causes hematuria or chronic disease, polycythemia due to ectopic secretion of erythropoietin, hypertension due to ectopic secretion of renin, renal artery compression or AV fistula, hypoglycemia due to ectopic secretion of insulin, Cushing syndrome due to ectopic secretion of ACTH, hypercalcemia due to ectopic secretion of parathyroid hormone like substance, gynecomastia, amenorrhea, reduced libido, baldness due to ectopic secretion of gonadotropins, Stoffer syndrome known as hepatic distension, fever, and anorexia, unknown. It resolves in 60 to 70% patients of nephrectomy. Investigations. The diagnosis of renal cell carcinoma is often made by CT and less frequently by intravenous urography. As CT is performed as an initial step in the workup of hematuria, it is an enigmatic metastatic lesion or suspicious laboratory findings. Microscopic urine analysis reveals hematuria in most patients. The erythrocyte sedimentation rate may be elevated but is non-specific. Elevation of the hematocrit and levels of serum calcium, alkaline phosphatase, and aminotransferases occur in less than 10% of patients. Anemia unrelated to blood loss occurs in 20% to 40% of patients, particularly those with advanced disease. Imaging. Ultrasonography. Abdominal ultrasonography can define the mass as a benign simple cyst or a solid mass in 90% to 95% of cases. Abdominal ultrasound can also identify a vena cava tumor thrombus and its cephalad extent in the cava. Isotope scanning. Occasionally, a renal mass is suspected on intravenous urography, but is equivocal or not seen on ultrasound. In these cases, a renal cortical isotope scanning agent such as technetium-99m DMSA is useful. CT scan is a diagnostic procedure of choice when a solid renal mass is noted on ultrasound. CT scan accurately delineates renal cell carcinoma in over 95% of cases. CT scan is also helpful in local staging and can reveal tumor penetration of perinephric fat, enlargement of local hilar lymph nodes, indicating metastasis or tumor thrombi in the renal vein or inferior vena cava. CT angiography can delineate the renal vasculature, which is helpful in surgical planning for partial nephrectomies. MRI is not more accurate than CT and is much more expensive. It is, however, the most accurate non-invasive means of detecting renal vein or vena cava thrombi. Magnetic resonance angiography has become particularly useful for mapping the blood supply and the relationship to adjacent structures in candidates for partial nephrectomy. Other diagnosis or staging techniques. Isotopic bone scanning is useful in patients with bone pain, elevated alkaline phosphatase or known metastasis. Chest X-ray is sufficient if negative, but if equivocal, then CT scan of the chest can be used to detect metastasis. Occasionally, aspiration cytology of the mass can be useful in an enigmatic case. Treatment. Staging should be done for proper treatment, so you should go for TNM staging. T or tumor, T1, T1A tumor confined to kidney less than 4 cm, T1B, that is tumor confined to kidney more than 4 cm but less than 7 cm in diameter, T2 limited to kidney but more than 7 cm, T2A tumor confined to kidney more than 7 cm but not more than 10 cm, T2B tumor confined to kidney with more than 10 cm in diameter. T3 tumor extension into major veins or perinephric tissues, but not into ipsilateral adrenal gland or beyond Gerota's fascia. T3A tumor vastly extends into the renal vein or its segmental branches, or tumor invades perirenal and renal sinus fat, but not beyond the Gerota fascia. T3B spread to infradiaphragmatic IVC. T3C spread to supradiaphragmatic IVC or invades the wall of the IVC. T4 involves ipsilateral adrenal gland or invades beyond Gerota's fascia. N0, no nodal involvement. N1, metastatic involvement of regional lymph nodes. M0, no distal metastasis. M1, distal metastasis. If the disease is confined within the renal fascia or limited to non-adherent renal vein or vena cava thrombi, the best treated by radical nephrectomy. This involves an in-block removal of the kidney and surrounding Gerota fascia, the renal hilar lymph nodes, and the proximal hub of the ureter. Para-aortic node dissection has not been proven beneficial in it and is not routinely performed. If the tumor is very large with a normal contralateral kidney, radical nephrectomy is recommended. If the renal vein or the inferior vena cava is invaded, early control of the vena of the cava above and below the tumor extension is taken. If there is extension of the thorax, the cardiac team may be needed to put the patient on cardiac bypass so that tumor can, if necessary, be removed from the right side of the heart. Different surgical approaches. Most common operation is nephrectomy. The transperitoneal abdominal approach is usually considered superior in renal malignancy. For the better access it gives to the great vessels. For very large upper renal tumors or for retroperitoneal sarcomas, a thoracoabdominal approach with or without liver mobilization provides very extensive access. Alternatively, retroperitoneal loin approach may also be preferable. Nephrectomy may involve removing either an entire organ and surrounding tissue or a small part of the kidney. Partial nephrectomy, in partial nephrectomy, which is also referred to as kidney sparing surgery, only the diseased or infected portion of the kidney is removed. The healthy kidney tissue is left in place as much as possible. Radical nephrectomy involves the removal of the entire kidney, the adrenal gland, the ureter, and the fatty tissue that surrounds the kidney. Simple nephrectomy is done for a living donor transplant purposes that requires the removal of the kidney and a section of the attached ureter. Open nephrectomy. This is a traditional surgery and the donor or patient may be under general anesthesia. A 10 to 20 inch incision is done in the site of abdomen and a lower rib may be removed. Laparoscopic nephrectomy, this is a minimally invasive surgery and entails less blood loss. Immunotherapy. There are two types of immunotherapy. Biologic response modifiers. The interferon alpha has had a 15% to 20% response rate. Interleukin 2, a T cell growth factor. Recombinant interleukin 2 is the only agent approved by the US Food and Drug Administration for patients with advanced renal cell carcinoma. Other type of immunotherapy is newer biological agents like bevacizumab, which is a monoclonal antibody that binds and inactivates VEGF-A, and sunitinib, a multi-targeted receptor tyrosine kinase inhibitor that yields higher response rates. Sorafenib is another agent that can inhibit both VEGF and PDGF. Temsirolimus, an agent which inhibits mTOR, a kinase involved in the VEGF pathway to promote angiogenesis. Temsirolimus has been demonstrated to prolong survival in patients with advanced renal cancer when used as first-line therapy, either alone or in combination with interferon. Now, other questions with renal cell carcinoma are: classify renal neoplasms. How will you diagnose and manage a case of renal cell carcinoma? Classify renal neoplasm. Write clinical manifestations, investigations, and management of renal cell carcinoma in a 40-year-old patient. What are the clinical features of renal cell carcinoma? How will you investigate? Or you can see this video by logging in my, or you can have the whole chapter of kidney and ureter with the questions which has come in West Bengal Health University paper of final MBBS along with this presentation slightly modified. Thank you.